Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me once again, back for more, it's Steph Tolev.
Back for more. Also, you had forgotten that I had done the podcast. So
I
was
forget that you had done the podcast.
Unmemorable, God damn it. And I really thought my 51st Dates, which I still hate that show. My mother's FaceTiming me. Excuse me. I really thought that I was a memorable guest and that you would have remembered how much I hated that movie. And I'm sure you've done a lot of these. So
I've done, you know what? I have Reese Witherspoon's disease after doing this many episodes. And I forget everything.
You have to be reminded.
Yeah. Also it's been a pandemic year. And so now we're like, hey, let's try and remember how to exist again, which is by doing podcasts.
I don't blame you.
That's all we have.
No, it's all we have. Did you get COVID? Because I know one of the signs is really bad memory afterwards.
No, after I got the vaccine, after my second shot, I had the really bad brain fog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't remember shit for like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
But I'm all right now.
There you are. I mean, I think I'm the only person in Los Angeles who hasn't had a vaccine.
You know, apparently, from what I hear, they're not even checking like if your credentials are valid anymore. You can just go get them. So get in there. Yeah. I mean, better to be here in LA where you can lie and get a vaccine than I guess in Canada where I hear the rollout is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's bad. Which I feel bad also getting one before my family. Like my grandmother's 90. I'm like, I'm going to have one before her. Like that seems insane.
And you could mother bird it to her maybe.
Yeah.
Figure out how.
Put my dog's ass. Anyways.
There you go. That's
that's how you
way.
do it.
Smuggle vaccine into Canada.
Yes.
That's our ultimate destiny, is just to become drug mules for our elderly family members. Well, speaking of drug mules, this movie is a movie that you could watch on drugs and enjoy, or as I learned, watch off drugs and still enjoy. And I want to know why you don't like it, which is Hot Rod.
Wait, you enjoy? Let's start with what is there to enjoy from this movie? I just rented it on Amazon because I was like I'm writing my own script. Excuse me. Maybe somebody will hate my script and do it someday.
Hollywood.
Very Hollywood. What everyone's writing right now, I had to do something. And someone said that there might be similarities between what I was writing in this movie. So I'm like, I gotta rent it. Spent $2.99 on Amazon. Biggest waste of money in my fucking life. I could have had 2 tacos. I'm wildly upset I watched this. Didn't laugh once. Stoned out of my mind. Did not laugh one time. No, once. I laughed once at Will Ferrell. Not Will Ferrell. Will Arnett. When he was in the car, and then when he broke up at the end with his girlfriend, he's like, "Don't go, no, babe,
no, babe."
Only funny part of the movie.
I mean,
like, Bill Hader's amazing. Danny McBride, amazing. What the fuck was their point of being in this movie? Nothing they did or said was funny. They were just fucking there.
This is going to be a tough episode.
Oh, really?
Because here's the thing. So I have a nostalgia bone stuck to me for this movie.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen it in a long time. The first time I saw it was in high school when it was out in theaters. Or maybe right after, because I remember I was mad at my friends because they went to see it while I was at summer camp. And I was like, well, I gotta catch up on this movie now. So I think I watched it maybe in college. But I liked it. And then I watched it again to talk about it for the show. And I was like, oh yeah, this still holds up. Like, it's super dumb. It's really ridiculous and nonsensical. And the plot is wafer thin. But
yeah,
it's just like it worked for me. So I want to know. So you've never seen it up until this point? Okay.
Up until literally, I watched it before you asked me to do this. I watched it maybe 2 days before that. So I saw it maybe 3 weeks ago. It's fresh, and I just was like, and like I'm, big fan of spoof movies. That's what I'm trying to write myself. I want to write something with like joke. It just seemed like there were so many missed opportunities for actual fucking jokes. Like there were just chunks of things that just were like the scene of him, like the whole thing with him. First of all, I thought his dad was so unfunny. The guy that cast the dad. Oh my God. I was like, why'd they cast this man? They could have cast a million comedians. I found him so painfully unfunny. I was like, this guy's bothering me. I found that whole like, I get it. It's supposed to be good. Like, and like his relationship with the neighbor, the girl, Isla Fisher. Mm-hmm. She wasn't funny at all. They made her completely unfunny. Like they could have given her something in there. Like that whole, it just seemed like, what's that guy's name? His brother, his stepbrother, who I love that guy. I'm obsessed with him. Yes. He's so funny. No, not at all. I was like, what were they doing? Like who wrote that? I was just like, I honestly was like, wow, Lorne Michaels really was just giving anybody a movie at that point.
You know what's funny is this was originally written for Will Ferrell.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that makes more sense.
So Pam Brady, who has written a lot of TV, and she's worked a lot with the South Park guys, with Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
This was written by a woman.
Yeah.
Would love to see a couple more women cast. I'll just say it right up front. Written by a woman. Main 4 characters are men. Excuse me, main 5.
It's true.
I mean, what are we doing in Hollywood here? I mean,
you got Isla Fisher and Sissy Spacek are really the only women of note who show up in this.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Literally, that's it. Oh, and I did find the one part. Okay, one other part was funny. I forgot his fucking name. Oh my God, he was the newscaster when he was covering the thing at the end.
Oh, Chris Parnell. Yeah, he's great.
He was very. He's always funny, and that just a very. That to me, that was an exact prime example of what they should have had more in the movie. A funny cameo with somebody, and it was like that part of the movie was so fucking funny and so silly, and then all of a sudden it would go back to like a bad back and forth, or like that one part with the one guy who wanted to be in the crew, like the Asian guy who they just had him like, oh, he wants to be in the crew. It was just him weirdly dancing at a pool. I was like,
oh yeah, a lot
what
of
the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What is that? That could have been anything. You could have made that literally anything insane, and it would have been funnier than that. Like, am I crazy here? You're making me feel like I'm crazy.
No. I don't think you're crazy at all. I think what the issue here is that this movie's obviously not your cup of tea, right? And what I think I want to know more, just before we get even further in and have our tete-a-tete, as it were. I want to know. This is a very stupid movie. So in terms of like stupid comedies versus parody, which I think is sort of a different vein, like I would say Airplane is it's a parody movie, but it's a really like, joke. It's really it's like well executed and well made, and the stupidity is on purpose. So this is a stupid comedy in a very different kind of way, I think. And you said yourself, you like parody movies.
And I love Airplane.
And you love Airplane. Airplane is a great movie. I would certainly say Airplane is better than Hot Rod, but
I would goddamn hope.
Oh yeah,
a comedian right now. But coming from a comedian, Jay Light, I would goddamn assume.
But the thing is, I think that Airplane and Hot Rod kind of exist on different ends of the spectrum. Okay, in my mind at least. So I want to know, like, for you, where the line of like this movie is too stupid to exist is. For like, if Airplane's here, if Airplane is like on this end, you got like your Monty Pythons on that end. Where's like your middle ground? And then Hot Rod for you is on the opposite. Like, I cannot believe that people got paid to create and make this movie.
I would assume Hot Rod would be under the same kind of vein as like a Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
Would I be wrong? Your cat was perfectly
My cat is very, she's very
like,
upset.
I agree. I assume, to me, it's that kind of stupid movie where it's like silly. There's a bit of a plot. It's kind of loose. I'm obsessed with Happy Gilmore. It's one of literally my top 5 favorite comedies of all time. I think it's fucking hilarious. And because it has funny the whole way through, I just feel like Hot Rod should have been there with the star-studded cast that it had.
It's got a great cast.
Like, it's got an insane cast. Like all the cameos, and like Andy Samberg is like, I just plowed through Brooklyn Nine-Nine and I'm fucking obsessed with him now. And I'm like, it just seemed like he wasn't maybe he was very young when this came out.
Super young. He hadn't really figured out. I think Andy Samberg, as he has grown as a comic actor, has landed in this sort of role, like in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Palm Springs for sure, where he's sort of developed this sweetness to him and the characters that he plays that he doesn't really have here. It's just he's super childish and juvenile here.
Yes, and nothing.
Yeah,
I just feel like, and like Danny McBride, like he didn't even need to be in the movie. He barely said or did anything at all. Like I just felt like every time like the guys would hang out, it would just be like Danny McBride pushing that guy around, and there'd be no real back and forth banter or like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like there was just no. It just didn't, at that point let them improvise. It felt like there was like even the scene when he was like driving Bill Hader to the hospital and he had like the thing in his head. I was like, this could have been funnier. It was an acid flashback. It could have been much funnier.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying here?
I mean, I see what you're saying.
Like a missed opportunity here.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to really, because I want to be able to like get past my own block.
Yes,
like
you're nostalgic.
I still, like, because I have the thing, and I still like. There are parts like I was talking to my girlfriend this week about she's working on a comedy script right now, and she's in the same boat where she's like got some stuff that it just needs to be. She's just trying to punch it up, right?
Yeah.
So you know how in comedies you always see, particularly in comedy movies, where they like cut to a scene and there's people talking, and it's like the very end of a ridiculous conversation, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. A great comedy trope.
Great.
I love the way, like in Hot Rod, it takes it to an absurd, ridiculous level where it's literally like you have a cut where Danny McBride is high-fiving Bill Hader and Norma Taccone as hard as he can, and then he goes, "That's how it's done," and then that's just the end of it, because it's so stupid that like there's almost no thought put into it. But I think for that level, I think it works. Like it's stupid with so much purpose in a way that like it's not smart stupid. It's just like we're gonna make everything as like dumb and low hanging fruit. This fruit is gonna be on the ground. That's how low hanging all of the fruit and all the jokes in this movie are gonna be.
And okay, yes, I just think then they should have kept that level of like, even that one scene you just said, they should have kept that level of like the silliness, but the dumbness. Like then it would cut to like, this scene pissed me off so fucking much where he went back and he was like, well, I thought my dad was a stunt man. And then the mom's just like, no, I made that up. That scene could have gone so wild. It could have like, actually, he was a birthday clown or something, and then done a really hilarious flashback of what the dad actually was, and it could have been something so fucking wild. Mm-hmm. Like that, it just seemed like there was it was missing something at every turn.
I think I see where you're getting to now. Okay, so you wanted this movie to be going for it in more full throttle than it actually was.
Yes,
you
and
wanted
more jokes.
Yeah.
I wanted more jokes. With a cast like that, I literally was like, I got high and I'm like, I'm ready to fucking giggle right now. And then I was not.
No
and I was
giggles.
Upset.
Oh
I was
my
very
gosh.
upset. 2 giggles.
2 giggles.
That's it. 2 giggles the whole time.
So, man, I'm trying to like figure out. This is very choose your own.
I'm trying to think too of like, anytime like if you have that nostalgia attached to a movie, of course you're going to be like, you know.
But that's the thing is like I don't have it to the point where I can't see the points that you're also making and think like, oh, there's some validity here.
But it also might be kind of like a guy, more of a guy slapsticky, like when did this come out?
This came out 2007.
Okay. So back then, it just seemed like that's what you already found funny back then. I think when I was in 2007, and if I watched it back then, I would still be like, this isn't that funny to me. Like I wasn't like into like Jackass or like, you know how like he's like getting hit with a fridge and stuff like that. To me was never funny.
You don't like watching people get hit by things?
I don't like Jackass. It's too much.
I mean, I never watched Jackass. I'm not going to say, I mean, I like Jackass 3D just because I think that does more to elevate the Jackass genre than anything could have done. But I'm still, but like, okay, so this seems like a dumb question to ask, and probably something that I might have already asked when we did 50 First Dates. But besides, all right, so if you're like Happy Gilmore is your line, right?
Yes.
Do you feel this way that you feel about Hot Rod, about other Lonely Island specific things? Because they kind of, in general, are like a group of guys who make movies like this and make content like this and stuff that is like so dumb. And I think that they make stuff that is certainly smarter than Hot Rod. Like I would say, for instance, that Popstar is a much smarter dumb movie than Hot Rod. I think that it has, because it's a parody, you have to make it a little bit smarter than a movie where it's literally just a guy crashing and hurting himself and being as a child in all aspects.
That's it. That's the whole. That's what the outline of the movie is. I definitely haven't seen Popstar. What else have they put out? Now I feel like I don't think I've seen a lot of Lonely Island stuff.
So Popstar, and they have another. Oh God. There's another movie that was a movie that they actually made. Oh, no, it was just Hot Rod. Yeah, Hot Rod and then Popstar. And then they made the unauthorized Bash Brothers Experience, which is on Netflix. And it's like an extended music video.
Oh, wait, I think I did see that. Yes,
Yeah.
I did see that. And I'm like, of course, like, I was thinking of like Dick in a Box. Wasn't that like
Dick in the Box is them,
yes.
Jizz in My Pants.
Yeah, see, all that's funny stuff.
Yeah.
See, I get behind all of that. It's stupid and it's funny. I just feel like
Well, also because those things, they go for it in a way that Hot Rod doesn't, and you you want them to have gone for it.
I want them to go for it. Like I like the image of Adam Sandler beating the shit out of Bob Barker and then punching an alligator in the face. I want that. That's the kind of silliness I want from a comedy. I want Chubbs' hand to get cut off. I want all the wildness. It just was like, at no point was there any like crazy stunt that got him super hurt or like made him lose a weird limb or something. Like not like necessarily that, but like nothing. It just kept feeling like it was the same level the whole movie. Like there was never like the plot was like, you know, somebody, your girlfriend was writing, you know, this was like be some sort of climb. It was just like a steady.
Yeah, there's
same thing across.
There's like the growth, you know, the main plot. It's about as thin as it gets, right? Is that he has to raise money so he can pay for his stepdad's treatment.
Who hates him?
Right, who hates him? Who's just played by Ian McShane in some stunt casting. Right off of Deadwood, and then you get him in here to just be an angry dad.
And then again, there was no real reason to why he hated him that much, or like just because he was his stepson. Like there's also
because
nothing
he's not
there.
a man. He had to put on a fake mustache to fight him.
And then that scene alone could have been funnier. That scene, I love him. I don't know if you know anything about me. I'm obsessed with fake mustaches. I have a fake mustache tattoo on my ankle. I love a good placement of a fake mustache. They should have used that more. He should have been like, maybe when he did the thing in the pool and then it fell off in the pool and the mustache was floating in the pool. There's so many opportunities. That's all I think. That's it.
So now, so I'm looking at the production section here on Wikipedia, right? So there's some questions that I think are even more pertinent now, that I think I've gotten a much better handle on.
Okay.
What you're looking for out of this movie, and I have some questions. As the shaved ice man honks his horn.
I was like, I thought it was a fax machine. I'm like,
no.
Getting faxes on a Sunday.
That's a guy who pushes a shopping cart, and he has a bike horn on it, and he honks to let you know that he's coming with shaved ice in the cooler, and he'll make you a raspado, I think is what they're called.
Have you gotten it before?
No, I haven't gotten that. There's that, and then there's the ice cream man. The ice cream man's here every night. He's been trucking every night.
We might live in the same area, because are you in East Hollywood?
I'm in Highland Park.
Okay, because I was like, I got an ice cream guy who comes every night and stops directly in front of my house. I'm like, you know I'm on a fucking diet, motherfucker.
Close enough. You can get a sherbet. I don't know. Is sherbet okay?
No, you can't do. I'm on a no added sugar. No added sugars. Can't do anything. sucking back water like it's a fucking dessert.
What about Halo Top? Does that count? I know
can't-
Halo Top's like
a
the protein
date.
ice cream.
I can have dates or figs.
Figs are good.
Figs are fine. There's only
fine.
so many figs you can have. You feel a little sick off the figs.
Fig sick.
Fig sick.
All right, so
Production-wise.
production-wise, right? So written by Pam Brady, initially was going to be for Will Ferrell. Do you think if Will Ferrell was Andy Samberg's part and not much else changed, would it work better for you?
Yes.
Okay, and
100%.
is that just because Will Ferrell has a different style of comedic lead play?
I think yes, and I think Will Ferrell knew who he was and knew how to play those roles as soon as he started doing it. So now, if it was Andy Samberg now doing this, sure, let's put Andy Samberg back in that role now, and he'll do him playing it. But because what you said too, like I don't think he had found his comedic voice at that point, and it just seemed lackluster is the term I'll use. But Will Ferrell, everything he's in, he makes funny. Like I just weirdly also rewatched his in the hot tub sketch with Ricky Scratch the other day, and I was like crying laughing. Like everything he does is just I think he just would have added something to it.
Well, he's great because Will Ferrell, I think, does a great job of playing this kind of a man-childy character.
Yes,
right.
he's a man baby, and every
he's a big old man baby.
Yeah, he is.
Especially also a great sketch where he is a adult man who is a baby. Great sketch. Second point of contention, and this is something that I think would improve it because I think it would allow it to go more balls to the wall that you're sort of looking for. So the studio wanted the film to remain less dirty, so that way it would have a PG-13. And they specifically cite they wanted it to be like a dodgeball, where it's like pushing the line of being PG-13 to R in that sort of realm. But I don't think they kept it pretty PG-13, especially for PG-13 comedy. So if this movie was allowed to like let loose and be an R-rated movie, do you think that would have assisted it?
Yes, for sure. I think there definitely could have been a bit more of a situation with him and her, him and like the love angle, or even something more to give. Like Bill Hader could have been a weirdo, or like some kind of like sex guru or something, and giving him tips or something, because it seemed like it was just a very like, now that I know it's PG-13, that does definitely makes more sense. Because and especially back then, people were like, now our PG-13 is like a full nipple, but back then it's like, we'll show maybe half a tit. Like we're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you used to be able to say fuck twice in a PG-13 movie, or once, I think. And now
really?
I remember that was a thing where it was like if you say fuck more than once, it's no longer PG-13. And I remember that was the whole like in Dodgeball, right? It's the end credits where Ben Stiller is, he's lost his gym and he's just wearing a fat suit. He's eating a bunch of ice cream. He goes, so he says fucking something, and I don't remember what it was, but I remember I was like, 14. I was like, they said fuck in a movie. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like when they pull out nipples in the Titanic. The same.
That is really. What did I see recently with Full Dong? And I was like, and there we have it. I got very excited. I literally said, and there it is. I was like, what the fuck was I watching? I'm sure it was something on HBO.
With Full Dong.
I just saw something.
The Leftovers I saw has Full Dong, but that's not a comedy show.
The Leftovers. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
it's Justin Theroux. He's fucking. He's cut.
Oh, he's cut. Oh, is he cut?
He's got a fucking six-pack. He's got muscles. He's got a full back tattoo on the show, and he's just hanging dong for like 5 episodes.
More than once. I got to get in on this.
Got to get in on it. It's a good show. It's sad, but it's also a very good show. So
I can look at that dong.
Handle
and just,
that.
The dong might pass me through the sadness.
Yeah, I can listen. If you just get bored, I'll tell you what episode's got the dong in it, and you just cut straight to it.
How creepy is that? Hey Jay, I'm texting you at fucking 2 a.m. on a Sunday. Hey, just love to know which specific episode and timestamp that dong is at, because that's what
I'm looking for a dong stamp timestamp.
You're the guy. I can tell everybody, Jay's the man. He knows the exact time and place a dong is
I'm Mr. Skin, but only for Justin Throws Dong and The Leftovers.
Mr. Skin is the grossest nickname in the world. Everybody come up next, Mr. Skin. Everyone's like, no, we don't want this.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what else is there?
Okay, that makes sense. PG-13. I guess I never really thought of how. I just also though, like, okay, I'm using Happy Gilmore again as an example because I also just watched that recently. And like, it's pretty PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
Beating up an alligator, like toss in. I wish it had a bit more silliness. It was dumb, but I would think it was missing the silly parts.
See, I think.
Or maybe it was a different silly.
It's a different kind of silly. I think it needs. Well, this is something else that I'm just learning now. Right, we're talking about it. So, the script was designed for Ferrell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Pam Brady wrote it specifically for Will Ferrell, but they authorized a rewrite from the Lonely Island guys, and Pam Brady still retains full credit on the film for writing credit because they didn't change the plot or a lot. I think a lot of the jokes that they didn't change. They just removed stuff that was like for Will Ferrell and tried to put in stuff that would fit a little bit better for Andy Samberg, but it just doesn't quite work. Because they have just different comedic personas.
Yes.
Yeah, the MPAA. This is the fucking I fucking hate the MPAA so much. They objected to using the word semen in a scene. Because you know where Chris Parnell pulls up his shirt to show his tattoo?
Yeah.
He had to say residue for that instead of semen, which is infinitely
so much worse. Residue is honestly creepy as fuck. Mm-hmm. Semen's like semen. Yep.
Yeah, we know what it is. I hate the MPAA so much. You ever seen this film is not yet rated?
No.
Oh, it's a great documentary about how shitty the MPAA is. Because it's totally arbitrary. The things that they decide are like allowed to make it into movies or not into movies. Like, you know, if you show a dong at all in a movie, it's way harder for that movie to come out.
Yeah.
Because they want to cut full frontal male nudity. Full frontal female nudity, totally fine.
Who are these people? A bunch of old fucking white men sitting around a really long desk being like, no.
Pretty much.
I don't like that.
Pretty much.
Ugh.
Yeah, the movie's crazy, and it's a really good movie for like industry bullshit. If you just want to get fired up.
I love getting fired up. Fire me up.
It's a good way to watch.
Send me some dong. Fire me up. I got myself a Sunday. I got myself a Sunday night.
I have one other cast swapping question, right?
Yes.
If Bill Hader was the lead instead of Andy Samberg, how do you think it would work? Because I feel like my instinct is not necessarily, but I want to hear your thoughts are.
No, I do think he did suit that weird friend role in this movie. This didn't seem like a Bill Hader kind of. He seems too subdued. And now I'm just picturing like how funny even Will Ferrell's face would have been while he was just like sitting, getting ready to go down the hill. Like everything would have been so much funnier. Mm-hmm. Because he just is so much more. Yeah, no, I think Bill definitely should have kept his role.
Okay. Yeah,
Danny McBride, maybe. Danny McBride, I think maybe could have done the switch.
Could be the lead. Yeah, he could have switched it up.
Yeah, because he's that guy. Like your cat is going to town.
It's the cat. It's the cat and the Raspados, man. It's crazy. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about before we get to the end of the podcast. So Roger Ebert gave this movie 3 out of 4 stars. And I usually hate Roger Ebert's reviews. But this is very interesting. And I want you to just react to what he says here. All right. This movie is funny because it is sincere. It likes Rod. It doesn't portray him as a maniacal goofball, but as an ambitious kid who really thinks every single time that he will succeed. My cat hates it. In creating this aura of sincerity, Hot Rod benefits from Sissy Spacek's performance. She plays the mom absolutely straight without inflection, as if she were not in a comedy. That's the only right choice. Supporting characters are needed to reinforce Rod, not compete with him.
Was he on acid when he wrote that? is this man insane? First of all, the mother had 3 lines. How do you even bring her into your review? She was barely in the fucking movie. So that's insane that he was like, let me really get on. I will agree that he definitely was likable and likable. He was gung ho and driven.
Yes.
But everything else is insane. 3 out of 4 stars.
3 out of 4 stars.
I mean,
This is a weird. I mean, Roger Ebert's a weird critic.
I think he is, because I think Rotten Tomatoes gave it 39% or something like that. Because I took a little peek, and
it's not
IMDb
great.
gave it got like a 6.7 out of 10. I'm like, it should be, I would say a 5 out of 10 for people like you who enjoy.
Well, I'm gonna give it a. I mean, I'll ultimately. My Letterboxd review of it right now, before we did this episode, I think I had it as a 5, and I don't think it could be a 5, but I do think it's a 4 because I think I see your points. Like, I don't think you're incorrect that it has missed opportunities for better actual jokes and not the sort of like weird anti-comedy that happens in this movie. Which, I also say this as a fan of like that sort of anti-comedy. It's hard to pull off. And to go that stupid and to occasionally find some gold in them thar hills.
Oh,
it's
it's
tricky
so
enough,
rare.
But it's rare.
So rare.
But like, there's, some of that comes down to the performance too. Like, I have a hard time imagining anybody other than Will Arnett pulling off the babe, wait, babe.
Perfectly cast.
Perfectly cast.
Nobody else could have. But they also, again, with a silly movie, they could have made that literally 7 more babes long. Yes. And we would have been dying laughing.
Yeah.
Like a really long pan out where it's just him like in the car still saying it. Like that was like, again, why wouldn't they have done that? Like with spoof movies like this too, it's like how, like, there's no way he didn't make a bigger scene. Like you can tell in comics like that too, when they're in that character doing that. Like, of course he probably said something wild and was like you know what I mean? Like I just pictured that going so much further.
Yeah. It could go, this movie could have just gone further.
It really could have. Just everything was cut short.
And I can't disagree with you on that. I do wish this movie had gone further, and I'm glad that you poked through. The Berlin Wall of my nostalgia has come down. Also, a lot of people because I said to somebody else I just watched, it's like, oh, it's so funny, and I was like, everyone else thinks this movie's really funny. Most people think it's very funny. I am one of those people. I'm one of those most.
You are.
But hey, different strokes. Speaking of different strokes, what do you think people should watch instead of Hot Rod if they want to see some good silliness? You mentioned Happy Gilmore, which I shamefully have still never seen.
I am going to lose my mind. I bring it up. I probably brought it up in the last podcast too. I bring it up.
You talk about Adam Sandler.
I talk about that movie though all the time because it's my favorite movie. I for sure did. It's literally one of my favorite movies. What have I been watching? I mean, this isn't a movie, but I'm heavily binging It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia right now. And it's like
gold.
It's so fucking funny. It is so literally insanity how funny it is. But this is a movie podcast. Well, I don't even know what the fuck I watch movie wise. I also, this is bad. I did just watch Monty Python's Holy Grail like literally a month ago for the first time. You've
never seen Monty Python's Holy Grail?
No, I can't believe it. And I was losing my mind laughing. I'm like,
for me, that's the gold standard.
It makes no sense. Why? I was like, this is stupid. I would highly recommend that movie.
I was not allowed. The first time I saw that movie, I was a child, and I grew up. I don't remember if I told you this before, but I grew up in like a super strict Christian house, and my family. This was one of the first DVDs we ever owned, and they skipped ahead when I got to the scene where they Castle Anthrax, where Galahad's there and all the nurses are like, we're gonna do the oral sex and all that stuff. Parents just they're like, go to a different room until we can figure out how to skip past this scene.
That's so funny.
So for a good chunk of my life, until I was at least late high school, I just had 20-ish minutes of that movie that I had no idea what happened.
I think it's funny that your parents didn't stop it. Like, let us fast forward.
We have to figure out how chapter skips work.
You know what I will say? I haven't watched it in a while, and I hope it still holds up. But silly movie-wise, Me, Myself, and Irene.
Another one I haven't seen.
Oh!
I missed out on a lot of Farrelly Brothers stuff from the early
Okay, I was going to say
days.
The Mask too. I literally just watched that too.
Never seen The Mask.
You. Oh my! For somebody who has a goddamn movie fucking podcast,
I know, right? I got a lot of
Have you
blind
seen
spots.
Ace Ventura?
I have. I've done an episode on Ace Ventura.
Well, and that doesn't hold up. That does not hold up. There's a lot of very bad things in that movie.
Yes, it holds up until about the turn of the movie, and then it's like, oh,
I know it sucks because it holds up for so long, and then I literally the second that plunger comes out and they all start spitting, you're like, oh yeah, we've taken a turn. That's why I'm like, me myself, I think I'm gonna watch that this week. It's also just absurd.
I've never seen. I got to see that.
And like Jim Carrey's silly, man. You gotta see The Mask.
great.
The Mask is classic.
I got to see The Mask. I got to see. I've seen The Cable Guy. That's Jim Carrey, but that's not like super absurd. It's different.
Seems kind of.
It's like weird and grounded.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about that.
Anyway.
Steph, this has been a delight having you back.
Thank you so much.
I'm
Thanks
so
for
glad
having
I forgot to have that. I had you on as a guest.
I'm so glad that you forgot about me too.
Where can the listeners find you? You got an album out that's been out.
It's been out.
Award nominated. Check it out.
It is, yeah. I'll tell you what, it's called I'm Not Well, and I will say this. If you, by any chance, still listen to vinyl, please buy my record. When you buy vinyl, and I did right for the pandemic, I bought 400 thinking I would sell them and be on the road. Absolutely not. And now I have roughly 250 vinyl in my home. So if anybody wants one, DM me on Instagram or something. I will send it to you. It's causing quite a stir mentally on me. But if you listen to vinyl, please. It's a pink vinyl. It's pretty goddamn cool.
Cool. Fuck yeah. Well, and you can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates and things. Now that live comedy is coming back a little bit, if you want to see some stuff in LA, hit me up right over there. I don't know why I'm pointing behind me to my grandma who's sitting here watching us on the show.
The one photo you have too.
The one photo. It's just
one photo.
She sent that to me. She took glamour shots, and she looks great. And I had nowhere to hang it for a long time, and now I finally do. She watches me while I do the podcast, right next to a shitty painting I did.
That's very cute.
All right. Steph, thanks again. You're a great
Thanks
returning
for having
guest.
me.
So happy to have you.
Thank you.
This has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.